Okay, hi, my name is Francesca Emmett. This week's video is a little different than normal because, as you can tell, I'm not at the barn. I went down on Wednesday as normal and I had a completely different video planned. I was going to do a proper stretching video for how to stretch your horse after exercising. But today, instead, we're going to be talking about how to handle horse emergencies, which is definitely a very important part of horsemanship. It's very good to understand the signs of when there's a serious medical emergency. So I went down to the barn and I was pulling my horse from his stall to get ready for our lesson. He was seemingly fine until we got to the cross ties, and I could tell he was just not looking too good. He looked drowsy. So I assumed maybe he's just hot, and I put a fan on him and was trying to get him to cool down. I was asking him to do this trick I taught him years ago, which is to give a kiss. I'm gonna show a video right now of what that looks like.
Good boy.
So basically he wasn't doing that when I was asking him to, and I was like, I'm just gonna let him cool down and see how he is in a couple of minutes. I went back and asked him again, and he still wasn't doing it, and his face was just kind of dropping, just very drowsy looking. And so I had told my mom, you know, he doesn't look too well, and she had asked me if he ate his food. I said, I don't know, I didn't check his bucket, which I should have. I just forgot that dinner was put out at that time. And so she went and checked, and he hadn't ate his food. His feed bucket was full and there was no manure in his stall. So these are big indicators of one of the biggest horse emergencies, which is colic. Essentially, colic is an extreme tummy ache. Horses have a one-way digestive system, which means they cannot throw up. Their bodies aren't able to do that. And when they're colicking, it can be very serious because it can lead to fatalities. So it's something, if you notice the signs, it's something that you really need to jump on to figure it out and help them, because it can get very serious very fast. So it is definitely a big part of horsemanship. And although I'm not happy that he was colicking, I'm happy that I get to kind of teach this and what signs to look for. So the first sign you're gonna wanna look for is not eating their food, no manure in their stall. You're going to wanna look at how they look. They will have a very drowsy appearance to their face. They're going to look very tired, very dull. I'm gonna insert pictures of like a side-by-side of what he normally looks like versus what he looks like when he's colicking. And you can kind of see the difference of what that looks like. So basically, you can see in the one photo, his ears are forward, he looks happy, just more lively. And in the other photo, his eyes are pretty droopy, his ears are not focused, he's just not doing well, you can tell. So we could tell that he was getting to that point. So we walked him over to my trainer, and he was very, very slow. So that's another thing. They're not going to be as fast right next to you. Usually when I'm leading him, he's right next to me. He was very much behind me. It was very hard to get him over to her. We told my trainer, we immediately brought him back to the barn, and she got Banamine. So Banamine is like horse Tylenol, I guess. It's to help with fevers, stomach aches, whatever. It's a medicine. And basically you're gonna want to give him Banamine as soon as you notice any signs of colic. So she administered Banamine to him, and after that you want to just walk them around back and forth and see how they're doing, because you're going to be checking for the next signs. So as I was walking him around, we noticed him pawing at the ground, and that is immediate big sign he is colicking. We need to get him moving, because essentially when they're pawing at the ground like that, it's because they're trying to lay down and roll, which is very, very bad and dangerous, because if they lay down and roll, their intestines inside will twist and they can die. The only way to possibly fix that is to immediately get them into surgery. So we're walking him, we saw him pawing at the ground, and immediately we got him back up and got him moving. And we were just watching how he was doing. He was doing worse before he got better, so it's definitely a more scary situation than situations I've dealt with in the past. He did try to go down 2 more times before he started feeling better, and he was acting more like his normal self. He was giving kiss again, he was grazing, he was just much, much better after the Banamine. I just think it's very important. Not only is horseback riding just such a fun sport to be a part of, but it's very important to know your horses and to know their personalities, because situations like this can happen very fast and they are very scary. And so knowing their personalities can help you prevent it as best as possible. I know my horse's personality. I know how he behaves normally because I do spend so much time with him. And I think it kind of ties in the whole point of this blog, the whole message I've been trying to send out is that horsemanship is so important in horseback riding, because they're not machines. They are animals, and we need to take care of them as much as they take care of us. And it's because situations like this can happen, and if I didn't know him, I wouldn't know that this was happening. I wouldn't know if that was he's just lazy and drowsy all the time. But I know him, I spend hours with him every week, and this was just not normal behavior. So definitely I think it's important to learn the signs of colic, because this is one of the most extreme things we deal with in the horse world. It is very dangerous and it is very fast. You want to be immediately on top of it as soon as you see it. You don't want to let them roll. You don't want them to lay down. You want to give them Banamine as soon as possible. In situations where Banamine does not work out properly, you do want to immediately call your vet and get them out there. Luckily, in this situation, he was doing worse before he got better, but it didn't take him too long. He started feeling better again. And then once they do start feeling better, you don't want to feed them for the night, so he did not get his dinner that night, but it's okay for him to graze and to eat grass. So we put him out in the pasture for the night. He was not ridden. I rode a different horse for my lesson. So you don't want to ride, you don't want to feed them, you just want to give them time to feel better. But yeah, that's really all I have today. Just the basic signs to be aware of. Look at their face, look at how their eyes are drooping. If they start pawing at the ground, that's a big sign they're going to try to lay down and roll. If they're being very slow, if they're just not acting like their normal selves, then those are huge signs that they are colicking, and you just want to immediately be on top of that to keep your horses safe. So